Greetings. Good life. Now, I have a few predictions to make that are already rooted in a physical reality. As has been said recently, you as a planet are moving between dimensions in order to make it possible to have a benevolent world where you can all live and be benevolent towards each other as well, for all beings. As a result, the components of Earth, the actual materials, the elements, you might say, in science, are transforming. This is part of the reason that technology will inexplicably fail at times. People who understand these forms of repair and understand the technology will check the equipment and very often find absolutely nothing wrong the first time they check it. So I want you to understand something, all you techs out there. There's not anything wrong with you. You haven't failed. Supervisors, please note, if nothing is found on the first check, know that there wasn't anything. I'll explain. But on the second check, or even third, some small thing is found. But I assure you, and that's why it's critically important to make records of checking everything the first time. It's critically important to make those records so nobody gets blamed for missing something. Because in reality, there wouldn't have been anything wrong with the mechanism, the circuits, all right? The only thing would be that the materials had temporarily undergone a change in their physical makeup, which would have made them unable to perform the job of technology that they had been assigned to. But on the second or third pass, there's an urgent need to discover something wrong. And that urgent need essentially creates a problem that usually can be easily repaired or that is noted to be intermittent. How many times have you replaced something when there is absolutely nothing wrong and utilized the explanation that you feel it might be an intermittent problem? I'm not trying to give away one of your inside situations here. In reality, very often, with such repairs and temporary breakdowns, we're talking about a change in the structure of the elements used. Most often this will have to do with quartz, all right, at its elemental nature. Sometimes it will have to do with some other material. So it will always, however, be a material that is functioning in its natural fashion, though there are times coming when even synthetic materials, meaning combined with other things in ways that don't naturally occur in nature, will also have these stresses. So, it is very important to be able to do a few things now. One, when it comes to communications, there will be communications breakdowns in technology, not only in the coming year, but it's already begun to happen in this year. I don't want to frighten you. It doesn't mean your technology is all going to go kaput all of a sudden. It does mean that your technology is not really technology at all. It is the materials that went into the making of technology. They are at their very basic selves something else. And the stress on the materials is not only to be reminded of who, all right, everything is alive, they were at one time, but also to be reminded of the permission they have to transform into something else, and the request that they continue to function in the way they are currently applied technologically in the most benevolent way. I want you to understand that, those of you who are using technology for things that may not be benevolent, because you will have to find another way. Now, this is what's going on. When you have a device, even an individual, okay, not just people doing technology repairs, but it covers everyone, those doing technology repairs and those who have a device, a phone, anything that involves communication. It could even be a television set, all right, which doesn't necessarily involve communication, but they are rapidly becoming that as well. Then this is what to do, all right? Put your hand, your right hand, on the device. Any way you can put it, like this, put it with the fingertips only, or put your hand down on the device, whatever it is. You can hold it in any way you want to if it's small. But if it's a phone, for instance, turn the ringer off. Or if it's the type of phone that plugs in to something, then you can unplug it, if possible. You don't want it to be called upon to do its job where you are doing this small thing. Then consider the materials that are making it up. You don't have to know any of the synthetic combinations. All you need to know are the basic materials that this electronic device is, which may very well have some metal associated with it. It might have something like plastic, which may originally come, in part at least, from oil. And it may have some glass or something like that. Then that would have originally come from, let's say, sand, all right, or quartz. So, this is what to do. Those of you who are actors will find that this is much easier, because you will have done this as homework at one point or another in learning your profession. So, those of you who are children will also find this easier, because the idea of pretending will be normal and healthy for you. Those of you who are adults, you will have to either pretend to be actors or remember how to be your child. Remember, it is the child in you, the innocent, who will help you get through these times. Try to remember that. Now, this is what you do. If it's a device you can hold, you hold it. If it's a larger device, you just put your right hand on it, even if you are left-handed. Okay? But first, before you put your hand on it, or hold it, if it's a phone, set it down on a table, not on your leg. Set it down on something, all right? And, or the ground, if that's where you are, if you're outside. And this is what you do. We're going to have you practice to be 2, maybe 3 things at most, all right? And if you find out that there is another basic element, something involved other than oil, stone, we're going to say mountain or sand, okay, just keeping it simple. And it is to be sand like from a beach, quartz sand, for instance. When you go to the beach sometimes and it's white sand, that's basically quartz, all right? At least let's keep it like that, to keep it simple. Or you live in a desert. There's often sand there. You understand. Now, I want you to be those things. This is not a mental exercise, though it may seem to be. It is physical. So this is what I want you to do. Keep the device handy if you've put it on something. Or if there's nothing else to put it on, you can put it on your lap. That is all right too in the case of phones. But not complex devices, large devices like, what can you say? Some big thing. A wall unit, obviously. So, imagine initially in your mind being oil. Not as something sticky and smelly, but as something very calm and quiet underneath the Earth's surface. Oil underneath the Earth's surface is very calm. Contrary to beliefs, it is not in motion. It is just very calm, very relaxed. It is at rest. So imagine yourself to be that material, at rest, calm, and relaxed. Then some of you might even catch a faint fragrance. It will not be oil as you know it on the surface of the planet, though. When it is relaxed, the fragrance is very faint. Then see if you can feel yourself as being oil. Actors, you can move around a bit if it feels right. When you are oil to the greatest extent you can be, if it is a phone, pick it up. If it is a computer, lay your fingertips on it or your hand on it, always and only your right hand. If for some reason you do not have that hand anymore, then you can lay your arm on it. If you do not have that, then you can hold the phone up to the right side of your body, anywhere on the right side of your body, all right? Or push it up there. If you have to use your left hand, hold it to the right side of your body with the back of your hand, your left hand, all right? I'm taking into account those of you who've been injured. Now, all right? Now, be that, I'm going to use your hand for example. Hold your hand on the device for a while. I've given this homework before, but now I'm putting it into context, you understand? Hold your hand on the device for a while, and then eventually begin to remove your hand without actually doing it. Maybe lift off a finger, all right? And see how you feel in your body. If you feel tense or uncomfortable, put your hand back on. And only remove your hand very slowly and gradually when it feels calm in your body completely. For some of you, this might take 5-10 minutes. So You can glance at the clock, but I don't recommend it because all the time you must be focused on being oil. So you will have to concentrate. Then, at some point, you'll be able to remove your whole hand. Once you removed it, don't rush it away. Just gradually move it away. If it feels uncomfortable, then move your hand back towards the device until you feel comfortable. You may not need to touch it. You might. It will take a while, perhaps. Generally speaking, however, though, once this is done to a device, you'll never have to do it to that device again, that particular device. The next time you do something, which would probably be best to do it after 10 minutes or so, wait 10 minutes and relax. If you want to, you can have a coffee break, have some tea or coffee, whatever you do on your break time. I don't necessarily recommend that you eat, but if you're hungry, eat a little something to tide you over, whatever you eat. Then we're going to do the next thing. Minerals are in mountains, all right? So we're going to keep it simple. We don't need to know what minerals exactly are in the phone I'm going to pick. But we know there is something in there in those circuits, or in the metal, that you can see or you can't see. So then you're going to be a mountain. If there aren't any mountains nearby, there might be rocks or stones. So imagine yourself being that, and then become it to the greatest degree you can. Try not to think. Try to be only that mountain or that big rock. And when you have done that, again put your hand on the phone or the device and follow the same procedure. Keep your hand there as long as you can and let it be there. All right? Just let it be there until you can begin to remove it. Again, removing it very slowly until you can remove your hand completely and then move it away very slowly. It's a process. It takes time because you are reminding something that has been through so very much. It may have been part of a mountain and was mined out of there. It does not remember after going through all those processes of remanufacture, transformation, combination with other things that are not naturally combined to it. It would have been traumatized in that sense. It does not remember who it is, and as a result, it does not work so well, and craves nothing more than to be home once again, and to remember who they are, so you can remind them who they are, by feeling yourself as mountain or stone. Again, you might have to start it as a thought by imagining it, but then feel it, be it. And only remove your hand when it is completely comfortable in your body. Your physical body will be relaxed and comfortable. If you begin to remove your hand and you get a tightness in your body, that's your physical body letting you know that it's not time to do that yet. We're going to repeat that one more time, again with sand, all right? And allowing sand to be quartz, essentially, or other electronic components at their basic levels. Do exactly the same thing as you did with oil and stone. Now, there's more. I know it's long. You don't have to watch it all in one. You can come back and watch it several times, in as much time as you have. Now, for some of you, you will have practiced long vision a bit, or long touch. You'll find labels to that effect on either the Benevolent Magic blog or on a Mystical Man's World blog, and you can read about long touch or long vision. But for those of you who have not read that, or been unable to read that in English, then I recommend you do this. Practice another thing. Because if there are communications, you understand, problems in communications, one of the first things you're going to want to be able to do is to know that your friends and loved ones are safe, or to know that something that you value is safe. You're going to want to be able to see it, even for a split second, and know that it's safe. Practice this with someone that you love, all right, or something that you love, for those of you who would prefer to do that. And when I say someone, that includes an animal, a pet. When I say something, it might be an object. For some of you, that would be easier. All right? Now, this is what to do. Most of you will know what that someone or something looks like. For those of you who are unable to know that, because your vision does not work the way other people's do, you probably know how it feels physically. You will have touched that someone or touched that something. Use that then. And study the long touch material. Have someone read it to you. All right? And this is what to do if you can. Imagine what they look like. This is what to do. Just for a moment, remember what they look like the last time you saw them. Then ask to see for a split second where they are. Don't be frightened if you see them for a split second with their eyes closed. There's a pretty good chance they might be sleeping. Don't try and stare at them. All right? If you cannot get that, if you can't do it, then this is what to do to practice. I realize I've just thrown you into this. This is what to do to practice. And this is not an ESP test, all right? So we're not trying to find out if you have qualifications to do these things. This is for emergencies only. Take a picture or have a picture, but this is to be on paper or on a photograph printed out. And put it out of your sight. And it can be 5 feet away, it can be 10 feet away, it can be 2 feet away. And practice, turn it over, and practice imagining what it looks like at a distance. For those of you who do touch, remember what it feels like, or what they feel like. I'm not giving you too much on this in this fashion, because this is something that can be unintentionally abused. All right? Though I've put in safeguards, so you cannot do that. Nevertheless, those of you who can, go and study on the blogs about long vision. There's homework there, and there'll be links. But that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, generally speaking, there will be these outages where you suddenly cannot use the phone, or email, for instance, or texting will just be unavailable. It could last 45 minutes, it could last days, or even weeks. It may not have anything to do with an earth change, say earthquake or something like that. It might just be the transformation of materials. That's why I gave you the homework to learn how to help all materials and all technology relax. Once they remember who they are, all right, or who they used to be, but who they are at the core of themselves, they will be able to function in technology even as materials are transforming, as the earth shifts with everybody alive upon it, from one dimension to another. Now I know this has been a long video, but it is important for you to have this knowledge and to be able to do these things. Some of you will be very good at doing the work with reminding the materials in the phone or the computer or what have you of who they are. If you discover that you are very good at this, then you can specialize in this and do it for others if you choose. People will know you're very good at it because their technology will probably work better after you have done these things. If it doesn't work better, then those of you who are working with those things need to participate with the practitioner to help bring about the desired result. The practitioner, if they are good at this, will be able to teach you in ways I've shared here, or that I shared on the written blogs. That's all for now with these predictions and these realities. Some of these things will happen more in 2014, 15, and 16, but they've been happening now, and they'll begin to happen more next year in 2013. It will be all right. Don't let this frighten you. It represents change, it's about transformation, and ultimately, it's about a better world. Good life.